Employer national insurance contributions set to increase from April. Our next guest is Toby Dicker, founder of Salon Employers Association, MD at the Chapel Salons. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. What did you make of the budget?
Thank you very much for having us. The initial reaction from our supporters, to be honest, is shell shock. It is much, much, much worse than we ever thought it could be.
Which bit?
Which bit? I predicted the worst scenario would be 75,000 for my business. It's cost me 127,000. That's it's just all of it. But particularly Employers NIC. Employers NIC affects hairdressing and beauty businesses 5 times more than it affects traditional retail.
Why?
Because we have a 60% wage cost. So if we have 60% wage costs and someone else has 12% wage costs for the same given turnover, that's 5 times as much. So 86 grand for me, just in increases and so on, and 17,000 for another retail business. I'm just like flabbergasted.
Yeah. Did you make representations before the budget?
200 people from our industry wrote specifically a 17-page paper that went into the ministry. We've been speaking to HMRC for 5 years, been speaking to DBT for 5 years, and they've promised us things, they've promised us things that they haven't delivered on. And that's forced most of our industry into the gig economy. The gig economy didn't get touched by this budget. You can be a delivery company turning over £1.5 billion, making £120 million in profit, and from my calculations, although I'm doing it all on my own, you don't pay a penny. What the hell? I pay £86,000. Why? Why? Just tell me why. And why are we 5 times harder hit? Because you haven't listened to us for successive administrations. We've tried to tell you, and you haven't listened. I'm sorry, I'm angry and sad and shell-shocked, and our industry's totally done. They have no choice now. They're just going to say, we have to go into this gig economy, we have to get rid of all our apprentices. We can't afford it.
I can see you're shell-shocked.
Yeah, I am actually. It feels like that.
Did previous governments listen to you?
No, they didn't at all. They didn't. We spent 5 years trying to tell them. I'll tell you what, they kicked me out of meetings for asking polite questions about these things. I asked very, very polite questions, and I was thanked for my help and told to go away. And I'm the only person in those meetings who runs a business, who represents business owners. Can you believe that? I can't. All we're asking for now is let this administration please sit down with us. Please sit down with us for half a day. Let us explain what it is. You've lost £1 billion already from 45,000 people leaving employment in the last 5 years.
What are you going to do?
I really honestly don't know. Is the honest truth. I don't know. I have a phenomenal team, a phenomenal group of people that work for me. I've set up a WhatsApp group with the 65 biggest names in our industry, and we're all going to sit down on Monday and try and work it out. But genuinely, you've taken all of the profit, all of the stuff you'd invest, and you've taken my salary away from me, more than that. And I've got to go find that now. If you allow a gig economy business to set up, people are forced into that thing. People are forced into self-employment because people cannot afford to employ them. You've got to understand it. If it's 33% cheaper or if you can be 33% cheaper and still make the same money, what does that do to employers? It's done. I'm going to keep everyone I can. I'm going to fight as hard as I can. My whole industry does. We are penalised for doing the right thing. And we're really upset and angry. And I don't understand how a gig economy company that makes hundreds of millions of pounds doesn't get touched, and the hairdresser patted on the head and told whatever. We're told that the NI increase won't affect a small business of 4 people, but the national minimum wage will. It was gone up by close to 20% when you add that 15% on top. So don't lie to us and say that. That's what I'd say.
Hopefully they're listening. Thank you for coming in and explaining.